Welcome back to the Toyota Avanza. Today we'll be replacing the automatic transmission fluid, gasket and filter. First of all, let's check the oil that's currently in the car. The ATF dipstick is behind the exhaust here. Checking the level is similar to checking the engine oil level. Just take out the dipstick, wipe it dry, and then reinsert and check again. So we can see that the last workshop overfilled the ATF, but currently the ATF color is still good and I don't notice any metal shavings. So we'll just drain and refill as part of scheduled maintenance. Let's get the car on ramps and jack it up so you can get under it. First thing we need to do is to remove the engine splash shield. It's just held on by a bunch of bolts, I think about 8 or 10 bolts, and they're all the same size, 10 or 12 millimeters. With the splash shield removed, we can see the engine oil drain bolt, and moving further back below the car, we can see the ATF pan and the ATF drain bolt here. From the ATF drain bolt, if you move backwards and look upwards, you will see the ATF fill nipple. And this should have a plastic cover, which you can just pop off with a screwdriver. If you are just doing an ATF drain and refill, then you can just go ahead and drain the ATF and fill the new ATF through the fill nipple. But since we are also going to replace the ATF filter, we will need to remove the ATF pan. And to do that, we first need to remove this cross member. It's 6 bolts or nuts, somewhat tight. Get a breaker bar, then just remove all 6 and you can knock the cross member off. Now back at the ATF drain bolt, get a 14mm socket and break it loose, then you can undo the rest by hand. Make sure you have a pan or pail underneath to catch the ATF. If you remove the ATF dipstick, it might flow better. Once the ATF has drained, clean up any debris around the drain bolt hole, and you can reinsert and snug up the drain bolt. Now that the cross member has been removed, we can go ahead and remove the oil pan, the ATF oil pan. This is just held in place by a lot of bolts all around the edges, so just go around and undo them one by one. Make sure that for the last 2 bolts you are holding on to the oil pan so that when you finally remove the bolts, the pan doesn't bend and it doesn't fall and spill ATF everywhere. So this is the 4-speed automatic transmission, automatic gearbox on the 2011 Toyota Avanza, 1.5 liters. I guess those are a bunch of solenoids. There's some wiring that's actually submerged in oil usually. And the big black thing here, that's the filter, transmission oil filter. So when you get this filter off, it might just pop off. Yep, that's the clip. To remove the oil filter, you kind of just pull it off. There are 2 clips on these 2 sides you can see, and the main intake where the oil pump sucks in the oil through the filter. Just kind of pry it off there. As usual, before discarding the old parts, we will do an inspection first. So here's a new filter, and the old one is on the right. The shape is largely the same, the size is the same, but there are a few tabs which are in different locations, which I will have to fix shortly after this. On the reverse side, the oil pickup location is in a different place on the new one, but that should be inconsequential. As for the oil pan gasket, the old one is rubber and it has not given any problems, it's not leaking. Meanwhile, the new one is made of paper, and while the hole lines up and the shape is correct, I think I prefer rubber, so I'll be keeping the old gasket. Okay, so this happened. This is the new, this is the old. It's largely the same, but the old one, the pull tab is here, and the new one, pull tabs are on the sides here and here, and that's getting in the way of the oil pan. Pull one, new one. Since it's just a plastic pull tab, I think I'm just going to cut it off. This one here. Shoop. Okay, so nothing sharp, nothing that's gonna break off. I think we're good. Let's go. There's a little O-ring around the oil pickup tube, so make sure you lubricate the O-ring on the new filter. Then installation of the new filter is a simple matter of lining up all 3 clips and the oil pickup tube and pressing it in. Now we reinstall the ATF oil pan by lifting it up into position carefully without bumping into anything, and then just tighten the bolts one by one in a starfish pattern. This will ensure a good seal with the transmission body, preventing any oil leaks. Now the oil filter, oil pan are installed and the oil drain bolt is tightened, so we can proceed to fill up with the new ATF. Since the ATF fill nipple is in a rather inaccessible place, we will need a pump to fill it up. I'm just jerry-rigging a hand soap pump. Make sure you clean it up, get all the soap residue out, dry it up as much as possible, and then we can use this to pump the ATF up to the fill nipple. We will also need a hose going towards the fill nipple, and here I've just found some, I think this is old aquarium tubing, not sure, but it fits, it wraps around the fill nipple nicely. So we'll just use this. The Avanza's automatic transmission takes Dexron 3 or Dexron 2 ATF. 3 will be better. It's supposed to take 4.6 liters of it, so I'm just going to put in 3 quarts or almost 3 liters, and then we'll circulate it and top it up if necessary. If you're using a little hand soap pump like me, this is going to take a long time and a lot of muscle ache. Anyway, just keep going until you finish all 3 bottles. Then you can pull off the hose. And don't forget to reinstall the little fill nipple cap. Before we put the car back on level ground, we have to reinstall the cross member. The two cross-member bolts that tighten to the body get tightened to 40 foot-pounds, while the other two, which tighten into the bushes, get tightened to 60 foot-pounds. Next, we start the engine and drive the car to a level area. You should leave the engine running for maybe 5 to 10 minutes while shifting the transmission into all possible locations like P, drive, tree, and so on. Then get under the car and check that the transmission fluid is not leaking. After circulating the transmission fluid, you can check the level again and top it off if necessary. Topping off will be done through the ATF dipstick hole, which is in a bit of a tight location, so get yourself a small funnel and a water bottle with a hole poked through the cap, and you can fill it up easily and without mess this way. In my case, I'm checking the level on the following day, so the engine and the transmission are still cold, so I'll be reading the ATF level from the cold marking on the dipstick. Finally, now that we are satisfied there are no leaks and the fluid level is good, we can reinstall the engine splash shield. That's all. If this video was helpful, I would really appreciate it if you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Bye!